C3 on using Pinterest for business. We're happy today. We've got a large group, and so what's happened is you are all muted. I'm trusting you're hearing my voice. And I'm thrilled to have Pam Ungst with us today. Pam has done a number of webinars for us, each one more interesting than the next, and this is a topic that I personally don't have a lot of information about. So look forward to hearing more about this. But a little bit about C3 Workplace. C3 Workplace and beyond are locations in Montclair, New Jersey and Sparta, New Jersey. They provide services for entrepreneurs and small business owners. Included in those services are flexible office space that can be rented by the hour through full time, and administrative support such as answering phones, doing bookkeeping, and anything you would hire an administrator to do. And part of our moving from the Above and Beyond brand to the C3 Workplace brand is because it more accurately depicts what we are all about, which is connect, collaborate, and community. So these webinars are a way for us to continue to grow community. Love to be able to help entrepreneurs to grow their businesses, and we hope that today's webinar will give you the tools that you need. And everyone will be muted throughout this. However, we would love you to ask questions. In order to do that, what we need you to do is just send a note to myself via chat function or the question and answer function. And I will be monitoring that, and I'll be glad to pass that on to Pam as we go through. And then please stay tuned till the end, because we're going to have a couple of good offers for you that you could take advantage of that will help you in your business as well. So let me take a minute now and introduce to you Pam Ungst of Pam and Marketing. Pam is an extremely knowledgeable person in the digital marketing space, and one of those people that continually keep up to date, which, as you know, that market is by as we speak. And so Pam is very knowledgeable. She's helped us with our digital marketing as well. And so today she's going to be speaking on Pinterest for business. So Pam, why don't you take it away?
Thank you, Janet. Thank you very much for having me again, and the wonderful intro. We're talking about Pinterest for business today. I'm going to try to cover a lot. I'm going to dive right in. I'm going to do everything from the basics, getting started, to strategy for using Pinterest for business purposes. So, diving in, I am Pam, owner of Pam and Marketing. I have been creating websites for about 15 years, participating in social media for 8 years. I have an MBA in marketing and various certificates. That said, if you have questions, submit them in the question and answer feature here, and we'll get to as many as we can at the end. If I don't get to your question, I'm very accessible on Twitter and Facebook and whatnot, so you can definitely reach out to me then, but we'll get to as many questions as we can, so admit them along the way. So, Pinterest, what is it? How does it benefit businesses? Getting started, developing a Pinterest strategy, some tips, and some tools to bring results. This is what we're going to go over. So what is Pinterest? According to Pinterest's own description, Pinterest is a tool for collecting and organizing things that you love. It's a collection of online bulletin boards where you can pin snippets of things, images on the site. You might have in the past cut out images from a magazine and put them with a thumbtack up on a bulletin board. Many different boards of many different topics. It's a very visual experience. It's all about the pictures. This is the only thing you can send from a page on the internet is the picture. So here's an example of what it looks like. This is Kia's profile, and they have different boards. There's a lot in this. This is just a screenshot of their first few boards, 21 total. They have different themes, wedding items, living rooms, bedrooms, kitchens, outdoor, and they put pictures of their items and in use in these settings. Function Pinterest. What Pinterest users can do, they can create boards and pin to them. Pin shared and group boards, so multiple people can pin to the same board. It's a shared board. You can follow other users in Pinterest or follow particular boards. So say one user has a bunch of different boards of different topics. You're only interested in one of them. You can follow that board. What happens when you follow a board or a user is then when you log into Pinterest, you get this stream of new activity, of new pins from the people on the board that you followed, very similar to the newsfeed in Facebook. You search and browse through pins by category or keyword, also boards and people, also by category and keyword. You can repin other people's pins, so basically a pin of theirs and down to one of your boards. You can just delete other people's pins, so give a thumbs up, but it's not so you'd actually want to copy onto one of your own boards. You can give it a thumbs up, and you can see the history of your own likes. So if you want to kind of remind yourself of something without at least saving it to your own board, that's a like feature does. You can also share your pins elsewhere on Twitter and on Facebook and embed your boards or your pins on your website. The recent changes to the functionality in Pinterest, they took away hashtags. So it used to Pinterest used to support hashtags, which is just a word with the number sign or the pound sign in front of it, and it made it so that you could click on that word and find all the other pins with that word. They did it with that. I'm not entirely sure what their rationale was with doing it, but hashtags are done. And you're also no longer allowed to put links in the descriptions of a pin. They add web analytics, so you can see the activity on your Pinterest account and measure your success right there in Pinterest. And that it recently you could create a business account. At first, it was just personal accounts, but they finally did create the ability to create a business account. So I have the links for these slides at the bottom there. It's not live just yet, but it will be soon after this presentation is done. So if instead of feverishly making notes, if you want to download the slides, they will be available at that link soon. What's the business benefit in Pinterest? Well, it's insanely popular. It's the number 4 most popular social media site. It's more popular than LinkedIn. There are a lot of people on it. It's the largest driver of website traffic in the world, meaning website traffic, web visitors sent from one place to another. So it visits websites more than Yahoo search does. Pinterest is what is referred to as sticky, meaning so that people spend a lot of time on there. It's kind of addicting in nature. You can go on and just start exploring it before you know it. Hours gone by. You can actually also go to Pinterest with shopping in mind. Pinterest-driven website visitors spend 70% money on sites that they visit that they got to from Pinterest than the visitors that come from other places. It's nature. It's a way to collect options of things you might want to buy. Demographics of Pinterest is primarily women, 80% women. That demographic is shifting. It's now the average for 2012 was that it was 53% women. So it's still the majority of users are still women, but it's definitely balancing out. They tend to be younger, between ages 18 and 49, and they tend to be college educated and have higher incomes. Most of them incomes between $50,000 a year and $75,000 a year. So nation, people with higher incomes that are in shopping mode, place to be. Business. Getting started, Pinterest for business purposes, you want to create a business account. You want to do this is because there's this feature where you can verify your website, and if you verify website, that's what gives you the ability to use Pinterest's analytics tool to look at reports. You cannot do that on a personal Pinterest account. So you create a business account and follow steps to verify your business account. And want to create boards that your target market may be interested in. And the way to do that is go to your newly created profile, and you can click Create a Board right there on profile. Or if you're just pinning, there's the ability to create the board while you're pinning. So if you just click in or repin, right at the top there's an option to create a new board. Those boards with pins. So there's several different ways to pin an image to Pinterest. There's the Pin It bookmarklet, which is a little thing that gets added to your favorites bar in your browser. That when you're on a particular website, you can just click that, and it will give you opt for all the images on that page and which ones you may want to pin. You can also load an image from your computer, or you can add a pin from a website by pasting the website address into Pinterest under the Add a Pin functionality, and it will find all the images on the web address that can be pinned. And there's a thing called the Pin It button. So similar to like on a blog, you often at the bottom of a blog article see, likes on Facebook, tweet this, share this on LinkedIn. Pinterest has its own called Pin It button. And if you download these slides later on, these hyperlinked blue aligned text here link to more information on each of those. Something important to note is that all pins added from a website link to that website. So the downside to uploading an image from your computer in that people click through to it and get to a website of yours. So whenever people you want to pin images from your own website. The repinning is kind of resharing, or it's someone else's pin over to your board. So in order to repin, and this is in this screenshot here on the right from the new design of Pinterest. They recently changed their design, and you may be on the new one, you may be on the old one. It's very similar in either one. You just it says repin. This is the new one, the new design. You just throw over the image and you have to pin it or like it. And pin, and you choose which of your own books you want to pin it to. It's your description and save it. The strategy behind this for business, and I know you've got a business account and you know how to pin and create boards. What you want next is you want to look at what works. So you want to pay attention to other people that are using Pinterest very successfully, the businesses that are using it very successfully. For the top 10 pinners on Pinterest, as of, I believe this was January of this year, are the people right here. The top boards, so boards here, primarily they are home decor, art, design, fashion, photography, crafts, food, drink, travel, and many other things. So that meaning categories chunk is pretty big. So don't get discouraged if your product services don't fall into one of those popular categories. If they do, then it's a place for you to be. But there's lots of other stuff on there too. So those popular boards, these are popular types of pins, very similar, weighted a little differently. Food, drink, DIY and crafts, home decor, hair and beauty, fashion, photography, so on. But and even bigger here is the everything else category. So don't dismay if you don't fit into one of these categories. So there's two steps to building your own Pinterest strategy. You want to build a following. You need, just like Facebook fans and Twitter followers, you need a good, healthy amount of Pinterest followers to have success on Pinterest. So the way to do that is pin and that's popular in your industry, create boards that would be interesting to your target market, And then you want to follow others and engage with others. Or engaging with others is hyperlinked to a recorded webinar that I did recently with Carol Stephen on how to be engaging on Pinterest. So there's more information there on that. But basically it's liking other people's stuff, commenting on it, repinning it, etc. The thing you want to do after you build a following is start optimizing your own website content for Pinterest. I'll talk about that here. Call experimental pinning experiment pinning. It's basically just testing things out, trying to figure out what types of images are most popular in your particular industry. So those chart graphs showed us what's popular overall, but you can experiment with pinning all different things that you think your particular target market may like and see what works, see what gets the most likes, see what gets the most repins and comments. People don't do a lot of commenting on Pinterest. They primarily do either liking or repinning. So, and with the goal of having your content spread around Pinterest, really the goal. So when you're experimenting with different types of images to see what's most popular in your industry, you want to pay attention to what gets repinned the most. And then from there, I suggest working backwards. Create content about a topic that could use images similar to what you found to be most popular in your research. So when you were experimentally pinning things, and those were getting repinned, you can then use that to come up with ideas for website content, blog articles, or new sections of your website that could use is like that. Then when you create that content, you pin the image from that content and watch it get repinned just like your experimental pins did. Thanks, Janet.
Makes sense. I do have a question as we're going through this. What about the B2B Marketplace? Do you think it's a good tool for that?
I do, and I'll show you a case study right here. This is a study that I did for a B2B company. I was an industrial plastics company, sold big sheets of plastic to other companies. And it often works on Pinterest if your B is to, or for anyone really, is to focus on what people can do with the products. So if you don't sell directly to end users, you still want to focus your Pinterest efforts on what your end users may do with your product in order to kind of backwards drive demand for it, and your wholesalers or distributors, whoever buys from you, will then want to buy from you because they have end users coming to them. So that was my logic behind this one here for this industrial plastics company. I did some experimenting, found that when it comes to plastics, kitchen-related posts were most popular, kitchen-related images, I should say. So I found different types of projects that someone could do with sheets of plastic in a kitchen. And I came across this idea of creating a custom kitchen backsplash with wallpaper and clear sheets of plastic. So I wrote a blog about how to do that. Gave all the how-to steps, and then added an image as main image for the article. Then pinned this image, which links back to the article, and used various keywords focusing on kitchen projects, and it just took off. It got repinned immediately a whole bunch of times. As of I last checked, it's been repinned over 3,000 times. So it just keeps going. One article just keeps going and going and going on Pinterest, and it consistently drives traffic to the website. So, although the content doesn't sell, kitchen backsplashes or help people make them or anything, it sells the product that's involved in it. You need that sheet of plastic in order to do that project. So it can drive interest in your product but even more important, can drive website traffic to your site. It results in leads and increased engine performance and all sorts of good things. So,
that's fabulous. So maybe I missed this, but how is, like, when you pin something? I heard you say when you pin something that's resident on your website, that's where you want it to be, so that when you pin it, is it an automatic click through, or do you have to put in your website, or how does that work?
Depending on whether you use the bookmarklet or the pin it button or pasting in the URL, it's a little bit different each way, but these ways are the bookmarklet or the pin it button. You just that, and while you're on your page on your website, you click the bookmarklet or the pin it button, and it will offer you all the images that could possibly be pinned from the page, and then when you click that one, it automatically links back to that page.
Okay, great. Thanks.
All right, so some tips for optimizing your efforts. Like I said, one of the things I did in that case study was make sure to use keywords that people might search for related to kitchen projects. I forget the words I used, but something to the effect of DIY kitchen project, DIY kitchen backsplash. So anytime you pin something, think about the ways that for that. What would they type in? And make sure that in the pin description. Hashtagging used to be a big part of this, but like I said, that's gone. So the only thing you can do is use a very keyword-rich description. For optimizing your efforts is to organize your boards in a very targeted manner. A lot of times people just follow one or two of your boards. They don't necessarily always follow your entire profile. So you want to organize your content into different subjects that will attract niche followers that will tend to your different target markets. So if your target market consists of, weddingers and chefs, then you want to have different boards for each of those images. As to watermark your images, of course, if they're images that you own, you can put brand name onto the image or logo, or ideally your website address. So when people start repinning, and it gets farther and farther away from you in Pinterest, your image is still on that image. And so to do that are PicMonkey, Photoshop, Picasa. There's lots of them out there. Those are just some very popular ones. But so one is a good idea for branding. Another thing is you can add prices. And this is very effective. I don't remember the exact stat, but I saw a stat about something about pins with prices being put on more than pins without prices. So if you do have price on your site, if you're an e-commerce site, an online store, or even if you just advertise prices for your products on your website, what you have to do is put the price with the $, the description, and Pinterest automatically picks up on that and puts that little overlay, that banner, with the price onto the image. Visual industry, though. What if you don't, the pictures of your products are not all that appealing? Or you don't really have products. What if you just have services? This is what you can do on Pinterest with that. If you're not of an industry, you can create text-based images with quotes or statistics or tips. These perform very well on Pinterest too. So there's some tools. Again, there's lots of tools, but two popular tools for doing that are PicMonkey and, not really sure how to pronounce it, Quoto, I think. And that's how you build a following and drive traffic to your website. It's the same as if you did have pictures of products to show. Okay, doing all this pinning and driving traffic to your website, and so now it's time to measure your success and obviously do more of what works and what doesn't work. You're not wasting any time and optimizing your efforts. So for measuring success on Pinterest, like I said, Pinterest added web analytics to their own site now. Again, you have to have a business page, not a personal page, and you have to verify your website. There's a little procedure that you go through to verify it. It's a one-time thing. And one other thing, you have to be using the new design of Pinterest. If you're still in the old design, it will offer you the ability to switch over to the new design. Then business account, verified website, new Pinterest design. Once there, you can get to your web analytics right within Pinterest. As well, for looking at your success from your Pinterest efforts is Google Analytics. Under traffic sources section there is a social section, and in the overview, you will see traffic you're getting from all social media sites, including Pinterest. Some others that are out there exist specifically Pinterest measurement purposes, Repinly and PinReach. And Pin Alerts is something that will email you if a pin is pinned from your website. So it gives you an alert the moment that happens, which is pretty cool. So getting started, you want to pin popular stuff and build a following by finding others and engaging with others. You want to judge your efforts by looking at what works, doing some experiment pinning to find out what works in your particular industry. You want to create content on your website because the ultimate goal is to get people to your website. So you're backwards from finding out what was popular, and you create content around that on your own website and then pin that. For optimizing keywords or your boards very specifically, very to manner, watermarking images that you own if applicable, and use text tools if applicable to create those text images. Finally, measure and improve. Do more of what works, less of what doesn't, and those are the tools that you can do that with. That is, I hope I didn't go through it too fast. I wanted to make sure to cover everything, but if there's anything at all that was confusing, certainly ask a question now.
I have a question. That you can via the chat or the question and answer function. There's one here. Rule of thumb, Pam, do you have any suggestions on how much time you should spend pinning?
Good question. Yes, it is. It's probably better to focus on or limiting the amount of time instead of trying to reach a goal of an amount of time, because once you go on there, it really is it's addictive in nature, and you can find yourself spending a lot of time. So maybe to really whatever works for you that gets the desired results that you need. So I guess it's something you might have to experiment with. You might start out trying, half per day or 15 minutes per day. Look at your statistics. Is that working? If not, you might have to bump it up a little bit. If it's working fine, then you may even be able to scale back a little bit after you really get things rolling. It is going to take more time up front than after you get a following built up. So do be aware of that. But there's no real rule of thumb. It's whatever works for you. And, and this social network isn't necessarily for every business. I mean, you can definitely get some success out of it, even in the most obscure business that has nothing to do with what is typically found on Pinterest. But, if you're spending a lot of time to get very little results, then it may not be a wise use of your time. So, specificity in the answer really is no rule of thumb. I hate that word.
Yeah, just say it depends.
It depends, yes. That's a much easier way of saying
Another you, if you don't have a website and you want to do a business page, can you use LinkedIn as your website?
No. The verification process, we could put it in there, but you can't verify it in order to get the fix, because the way you verify it is you upload a little HTML file that they give you to your website. So you can't do that on other sites other than your own.
HTML file, then if you know what to do, the instructions on what to do with it, or else you'd have to have your web design do it, right?
Depends on how comfortable you are. It's they give a file, so you don't have to code anything. They just say download this and put it on your site. So you just download the file, and if you're comfortable with like uploading files to your site via FTP or via your hosting channel, then you can opt yourself. If that's not something you've ever done, not comfortable with, then you might have your webmaster do that for you.
Mhm. Mhm. And the purpose of that is that we're collecting the data for the analytics. Okay. Did you spend more time on your own site or visiting others? I guess they're on board.
Another one that I can answer with, it depends. Yeah, again, though it will be different at first than when you get rolling. I suggest a lot of time on others at first than your own, because if you just start pinning all your own content, there's really nobody there to see it. I mean, if you keyword it well, then people will discover it, but it's like putting the cart before the horse. You really need to build a following first and then start pinning a lot of your own stuff. So definitely focusing on other people's content, repinning their stuff, commenting on it, will get them to follow you, and then you can start doing more of your own content.
Okay. Well, I think that's it. Questions? Oh, wait. We have more. Rules for following. Are there rules for following other people?
It's really what you want to see in your stream. So here, let me go do a little bit of browsing here. If I could get to the right place here. That little bar is in the way. Okay. So this is like when you log in, you see all the new pins from people that followed and boards that you followed. So following others, I mean, certainly follow people in your target market, your target demographic, to just make them aware of you and hope that they follow you back. But the other thing to keep in mind is whoever you follow and whatever board you follow, that's going to be what formulates what you see in your stream when you log in. So there's a lot of marketing stuff. And, because I'm always looking for marketing stuff to repin on boards. So you keep in mind what kinds of content you want to find and discover on a regular basis and follow people like that. But then also your target market as well.
Okay, great. Well, Pam, thank you again one more time for a great webinar. And you had a link up there they could go to download the slides?
It's not live at the moment, but it will be very soon. It was process of uploading the slides as I started here, so that URL, those slides will be available there very soon.
Great. And this was recorded, so I will be sending a link to all of you so you can listen to it again at your leisure. And you can see it if you didn't get a chance to write it down. Did you have anything you wanted to offer our guests today?
I do. As you can see on the screen there, I offer discounted private consultations to anyone who attends a webinar. So if you want to meet with me privately, actually, and spend an hour focusing on your exact situation, whether it be Pinterest marketing or any other online marketing issues that you want to address, I provide discounts on that to webinar attendees, and that is the link right there to access that.
And if any of you are interested in attending more of the C3 Workplace webinars, please send me an email at janet@virtualofficestaff.com, and I'll give you a free certificate for listening to, viewing a webinar of your choice. So that's janet@virtualofficestaff.com. And just a reminder that those of you who are members of C3 Workplace, and you can find out more about that by going to the C3 Workplace website at c3workplace.com. But members always can attend the webinars at no charge. So just one more benefit of membership. And while you're at the C3 Workplace website looking at the upcoming events, take what's going on. We have a lot of webinars coming up and Lunch and Learn programs, both in our Sparta location and our Montclair location. If you have any questions, please shoot me an email or give me a call. My number is 973-594633. Pam, again, thank you so much for today, and we look forward to having you and all of you on the call on future events.
Thank you. And one quick thing I want to mention before we go, if anyone local to New Jersey is interested, I'm giving a Twitter 101 workshop at the Morris County Chamber of Commerce on May 9th. For a 2-hour hands-on workshop for learning everything you need to know about how to get started using Twitter. So if local, certainly check that out on morrischamber.org.
Great. Thanks so much.
Thanks again. You too. Bye.